Hi. Okay, so today we are working on creating our table of contents. So last week we worked on coding and organizing our notes through colors, and today we are taking all that information and just when you guys started to code, you guys were putting down like blue means this, red means this, yellow means whatever you were putting down. Those are essentially going to become your chapters. So if you guys look at this trail that we had done, you guys all started off with a trail of research. So that's going to help be like the basis for your chapters. So we have all about teen activism, Malala, girls denied in education, and what we can do to help. So we found information on all of these things, right? So I basically just took this and made this chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here we go. Table of contents that follows your path of research. But what you're going to do today is you're going to make one table of contents and then you're going to make another table of contents because you can always rearrange them. After you look at it initially, there's a few things to consider. Would you change anything? Look at the table of contents. Is there anything you would change? Would you combine or would you divide? So on the next page, what I started to do was I looked back at the writing information, the notes that I had taken down, and what I found was I also had a big section on why we should educate girls. So I wanted to make sure to put that into my chapters. And what I also found was I actually don't think teen activism needs to be like right in the beginning of my book. I think teen activism is obviously very important, but I think that could be moved in its placement. So what I started off with was for girls' education, I started off my first chapter with Malala because I feel like she is such a huge activist for girls' education. And then I put girls around the world are denied in education. So I kept that same chapter. And then I added in the chapter we just talked about, why girls should be educated, because I looked at my notes. I saw that we had a solid amount of information on that. So I wanted to make sure to put it in. Okay. And then I put in people who are helping the cause, finding solutions, and then teen activism. So in the teen activism section, I can add in a bunch of other teen activists that have worked on girls' education, or I can also add in my teen activism flash draft, which is really good, which talks about what a teen activist is. Okay, now you're going to this isn't like super important this part today, but you're going to start to think about this. So what you're really focusing on today is creating your 2 table of contents. But then I also want you to start to think about the different structures for nonfiction books, okay? So books can be set up in all different ways. You guys have been looking at different like articles and books with Mr. P. So you guys have like problem and solution. You can put things in order chronologically. You can do boxes and bullets. You can classify things like putting them into categories. You can also do like definitions, what words mean, and give examples and give opposites so that people understand what those words mean. Okay, words that are super important to your topic. And when you are creating your your chapters, I really want you to think that you have to write things in paragraphs and make sure to cite evidence. So if you guys come across a quote that you really like or a piece of evidence that you really like, I would make sure to write that part in completion and state, like, that's why we're putting down the titles and the authors, because when you're citing evidence, you need to be able to cite where you got that piece of evidence from. Okay. And once you include your evidence, you have to analyze it. Like, why did you pick that piece of evidence? Why is that evidence relevant? Okay. So you're citing evidence, you're quoting, citing and quoting, then you're giving your evidence, and then you're explaining and analyzing that evidence. So super important to make sure you're doing all of that. So today's focus, I'm going to add it in. Today's focus, we are creating 2 table of contents. After you create the first, look it over What can you change, combine, or remove? Because there may be something that you don't find to be relevant anymore, okay? And then you're going to create second table of contents. Okay, so this is your focus today. And then you're going to start to think about what you want your chapters to look like. Okay. All right, guys. I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, just let us know.